have a moment in your career that you consider your big break?
I would say meeting Willard Scott, moving to Washington D.C. and meeting Willard Scott. He gave me the other two best bits of advice, which was never give up your day job. I mean, I do a lot of different things, but the weather is kind of my base. Mm-hmm. And the other one is be yourself, because at the end of the day, that's all you got. When they take everything else, they cannot take that away.
Do you believe work-life balance is possible, or is it just work? I mean, what do you think?
Well, I think it's more like work-life average. Because sometimes you've got a lot of time with your family, your kids, your wife. Other times, because of their schedules, your schedule, it just doesn't work out. So you just try. If you average it out, you've got that time together. But at least in my career, and I think it's like this for a lot of people, it comes in spurts. You're just going. I mean, I remember my dad as a bus driver. There were like 2 or 3 week periods where he worked a lot of overtime. Mm-hmm. We didn't see a lot of it. And that kind of is the case here.
Do you feel like you've had to give up a lot for this successful career?
No, I don't think so. No, I'm not one of those people you say. You'll see these actors and media people. No. Look, there are some sacrifices, if you will. I mean, certain amounts of privacy. Sometimes my kids will complain, and I understand, and it's valid. But I also say, look, guys, we also get to do some pretty amazing things and get to see some pretty amazing things and go some pretty amazing places. My middle girl just accompanied me to Abu Dhabi and Dubai. I think you get to do so many unbelievable things and meet people that you would never get a chance to meet.
If you could tell aspiring meteorologists out there, or, weathermen, I should say, aspiring broadcasters who are maybe they're either at the very beginning or maybe they're really discouraged right now and they've had a million no's, what's your number one piece of advice for them?
I think it's still to be true to themselves, because eventually something's going to happen. It might not be what you want to happen. It might not be the job you think you want, but what's supposed to happen is going to happen.
Here are my key takeaways on achieving success from my interview with Al Roker. Number 1, don't quit your day job. He said that even though he's got a production company and he does lots of different shows and lots of different things, he will never quit the weather, and that it's important to have a solid base of work no matter what. Number 2, be ready to work hard. Al wasn't even interested in the weather. That was just the opportunity that presented itself to him early in his career, and he just worked at it really hard and kept walking through doors that opened to him. He never takes more than 2 weeks off, and he didn't even do that until a few years ago, so clearly he works hard. Number 3, stay curious. I thought this was interesting because a lot of times in the entrepreneurship, achievement, success, business space, you'll hear that you should find one thing, one niche, and become an expert at it. But his advice to aspiring media personalities was to instead get curious about a lot of things and research and read a lot and be knowledgeable of a lot of different topics. Number 4, stay grateful. I think one of the reasons people love Al Roker is because he seems so approachable and down to earth, which he is. When I asked him about haters or about the downside of his job or about being in such a tough industry, he didn't have time for any of those types of complaints. He said, what do I have to complain about? It's all gravy, it's all a blessing, which is something we can all learn to be a little bit more grateful. And lastly, be true to yourself. He said that especially if you want a career in broadcasting or in the media industry, that it can be hard, that you might have to take a job you didn't necessarily want at the beginning. But he said what's important with all the twists and turns in your career is to know that you stayed true to yourself. For more inspiring interviews, articles, and videos, go to success.com, and to see my full interview with Al Roker, go to thepursuit.tv.